guys, we're just out in the man cave here. Just trying to get ready for turkey season and putting my arrows together here. I've got the bow all dialed in, got it shooting the way I want it to. I mean, no big surprise there. But I thought, you know what, I'll put together a real quick video on what I use for a broadhead for turkey, and you know, the little additive that I do and my experiences with it. And you know, if you like it, I'll put a link in the description for what I'm using, and absolutely give it a try. It's something that is almost, yeah, I mean, it's almost made it 100% success rate for me. So, I mean, without further ado, we'll come up close here. I shoot raised broadheads, and I've got, you know, the hypodermics, and I've got the originals, and I've got a 40 KE here. I don't know if you guys can see these, but just the typical 2-blade. I've tried this with the 3 blades, and it works, but my comfortability with it, there's just a hair of margin there, or a margin of error there that I'm not willing to take. So, like I said, regular rage broadheads, and then the hypodermics. So, but you know, that's not all I do, and I've killed plenty of turkeys with my rage broadheads, and they work out fantastic. Typically, I get a pass-through with them, and it works out if you hit them. You know, I usually body shot my turkeys. I don't typically go for the head, but I get that pass-through, and that turkey's going to run a little bit. And as we all know, turkeys don't typically, you know, leave you much of a blood trail. You find the feathers, and if you can watch them go and expire, then that's great. But I've had a couple that have gotten in some thick stuff, and it's been hard to find them. So I thought, gosh, you know, I wish I could slow my penetration down. I really didn't want to switch to a fixed head. I kind of started looking. I actually talked to a friend of mine, and I talked to him after I had a pass-through on a big tom, and I hit this tom way forward. I completely shot right through the breast of this turkey, and he essentially got away. I didn't hit anything vital. I assume he's fine. I looked for quite a while, and my friend came out and helped me. But when we got back, he's like, "Hey, you need to check out these adder points." And so I got online, and I kind of researched them a little bit, and hopefully you guys can see this. They're called an adder point, and more or less they're designed for small game, and it's, you know, to keep your arrow from going in the dirt and just kind of hitting what you're aiming at. And I got them, and as soon as I got them, I went out to the woods and actually was able, I think it was like hunt number 2 with them. I was successful, and I hit a bird. And what I really, really liked about them is that when these things went in, it stopped my penetration about 3/4 of the way through, but they stuck. And it made it really hard for that bird to run off. I mean, it's got an arrow sticking out of it, and it kind of made it a little easier to follow. You can see your arrow, but it did. This bird walked about 20 feet, and it sat there, and then, you know, I watched it expire and whatnot. And I really do believe that if I had just gotten a pass through like I always had, that bird would have run off plenty far, and I would have located it much further down the lane. So. But essentially, I mean, these things are somewhat sharp. I mean, they got pretty good points on them, but they sit right behind your broadhead. So they, like I said, they sit on the back of your broadhead like that, and almost add a little bit of fixed blade to your rages. Or you can put them behind a fixed blade, or you can put them behind a field tip. But they add that extra level of damage. And so when I got him, I actually took him out and I shot him through some cardboard on the target, and I was extremely impressed, because not only did my rages flare out and I had the 2-inch cut, but then, you know, through the cardboard I had a hole that was a perfect circle, as big around as, you know, the same diameter as what this is. And if I had to give you a reference, it was as big as round as a 20-gauge slug. So I guess the way I looked at it is, whatever I shoot with these, aside from the impact, but the wound channel I'm going to leave is going to be about the size of a 20-gauge slug, and that's phenomenal. But at this point, you know, I've had these for a couple years, and I've killed 6, maybe 7 turkeys with them, and not once have I had a pass through. And I've actually had another bird that I shot way up in the breast, and I hit absolutely nothing vital, and my arrow stuck, and that bird didn't run off, it didn't wander away, it went about 20 feet, 30 feet, whatever, and it just laid down, and it laid there. It was wounded, and it gave me the opportunity for a follow-up shot that I don't think I would have got had I just passed the arrow through, because I think this arrow being in there, and as it's moving, the arrow's moving around, it was causing the pain and the discomfort. The bird decided to lay down, and I got to give it a follow-up shot and made a quick, easy, ethical kill on this bird. So these things for sure have definitely saved a bird for me, but they've also saved my arrows, because I've missed a few birds, and these things hit the dirt, and it kind of stands them up, because that does not allow them to dig in so much, kind of like a judo tip. So anyway, just wanted to show you guys that. Like I said, these things just screw in behind on your broadhead. So what I do is I set it on the broadhead like this, and you know, for a fixed blade, it's just a matter of screwing it together. But with these rages, you know, obviously get your blade set, and then you can kind of split the gap here like that. So, and then get them nice and tight. It doesn't prevent these from opening up. I do it for you. I don't want to mess up my collar, but everything still flies flawlessly. I had no change, and I didn't have to change any pins or anything like that. Everything flew straight. So I don't know, food for thought. If you like it, I'll put a link in the description below. You guys can check them out. I'll throw a link for the Rage broadheads. I'm shooting the gold tip 340s, and these arrow are phenomenal. And that with my Martin, and we're ready to go this season. Good luck to you. Stay.